Good morning, students. Today I am explaining a poem. Grandma climbs a tree. You can see two trees here. One tree is here, one tree is here. Here I am asking a question in the class. How many of you can climb a tree? Yes, 3 or 5. Or some students, a few students can climb a tree. But at the same time, if you are asking the same question to your parents after reaching home, they will say, we can't, because they are older than you. They are grown-up people. But you being children may be able to climb a tree. Here in this poem, Grandma climbs a tree. It is written by a famous writer, Ruskin Bond. This poem is written by writer Ruskin Bond. In this poem, the writer explains the childish habit of his grandma or grandmother. The poet calls his grandmother as a genius because she could climb any tree very easily. So the poet considered his grandmother as a genius. She started the climbing tree at the age of 6 and she was fond of climbing tree and she did it till 62, till at the age of 62. She was able to climb tree without taking any effort, and she was able to climb any tree, whether it is high or whether there are many branches. It's not a matter at all for her. So this her poet's grandmother was able to climb any tree very quickly without having any effort. So the poet was, grandma was taught the art of that climbing tree by her brother. When she was at the age of 6, she started climbing trees. Her brother taught the art of climbing trees. It was feared by all that one day grandma would fall down. All the relatives and others feared that a day will come when grandma would fall from the tree. So they gave a warning not to climb trees. But grandma did not like or did not accept. So an incident was happened. However, that incident was somewhat different. One day, all others they had gone to town. At that time, grandma climbed a tree. She was unable to get down. She felt difficulty to get down. Finally, she was rescued. She was rescued with great difficulty. And after that, they called the doctor, and the doctor took her temperature and advised her to take rest for a week, and moreover, he advised not to go outside and to take rest for 1 week. So grandma kept quiet in her room, but after her recovery, when she became strong, she called his son one day. She called boldly and she told her son, I am unable to walk out, I am unable to climb the tree because the doctor and others told me So you please make a house on the tree top. Her son was very dutiful, and at that night itself, son constructed or son built a tree house. There was window and doors. The house was there were windows and then doors. Moreover, he sought the assistance of the writer also. So after building her house, grandma moved in. She went there. One day, our writer visited grandma with a tray and some glasses, and they drank sherries and they enjoyed much. So this is the story. It shows that grandma upheld her right to live in a place where she wanted. She upheld her right or her privilege to live in a place where she wanted, and it was in a tree top. That is the content of this poem. I am reading. After that, again I will explain. All of you should you open your textbook and you just listen first. My grandmother was genius. You would like to know why? Because she could climb trees, spreading or high. She had been up their branches in a trice, and mind you, when last she climbed a tree, she was 62. Ever since childhood, she had this gift for being happier in a tree than in a lift. Once more I am reading. My grandmother was a genius. You would like to know why? Because she could climb trees, spreading or high. She had been up their branches in a trice. Trice means very fastly or quickly. Trice. Fastly or quickly. She had been up their branches in a trice, and mind you, when last she climbed a tree, she was 62. Ever since childhood, she had this gift for being happier in a tree than in a lift. She never used a lift or ladder to climb a tree. That's the peculiarity of grandma. She climbed without having any efforts. She did not use any ladder or lift to climb a tree. My grandmother was a genius. The poet called his grandmother as a genius because she was able to climb any tree. You would like to know why? Why the poet is calling her as a genius? Because she could climb trees. She could climb trees, spreading or high. Whether it is spreaded or high, it doesn't matter for grandma. So the poet called her as a genius. She would be up their branches in a tree. She would be up their branches in a tree as fast as possible. She was very quickly. She was able to climb the tree very quickly. And mind you, when last she climbed the tree, she was 62. So grandma climbed the tree at the age of 62. That was the last. It was the last time when she climbed the tree at the age of 62. Ever since childhood, she had this gift for being happier in a tree than a lift. She never used a lift or ladder to climb the tree. That is the peculiarity of that grandma. And though as years went by, she would be told that climbing trees should stop when one grow old, and that growing old should be gone about gracefully. She would laugh and say, "Well, I will grow disgracefully. I can do it better." And we had to agree. For in all the garden there was not a tree. And though as year went by, she would be told that climbing trees should stop when one grow old. So years passed, others told, you please don't climb the tree because you are becoming old. And that growing old should be gone about gracefully, and moreover, They told, you should leave gracefully. But she replied, no, I like to live disgracefully. Even though the people suggested, even though people suggested to leave her gracefully, but she refused and she replied that, no, I want to live disgracefully. That was her answer. Well, I will grow disgracefully. I can do it better, and we had to agree. For in all the garden there was not a tree. That means the poet says that in that garden the grandma climbed every tree. She climbed every tree in that garden. She had not been up at one time or another, having learned to climb from a loving brother. Her brother taught the technique of climbing tree. She was taught by her brother at the age of 6. She started the climbing at the age of 6. She had not been up at one time or another, but it was feared by all that one day she would have a terrible fall. The outcome was different. While we were in town, she climbed a tree and could not come down. The outcome was different. That one day she had had a terrible fall. So what happened? Others advised her. Relatives told that one day definitely she would fall. But the outcome or the result was somewhat different. You can see what happened. That one day she had had a terrible fall. The outcome was different. While we were in town, she climbed a tree and could not come down. Others have gone to town. Others have gone to town. At that time, grandma climbed that tree, but she was unable to get down. It was a terrible incident in her life. After the rescue, but she was rescued. She was rescued by others. The doctor took granny's temperatures and said, I strongly recommend a quick week in bed, a quiet week in bed. We sighed with relief and tucked her up well. Poor granny, for her it was like a brief season in a hell, confined to her bedroom while every breeze whispered of summer and dancing leaves. After the rescue, the doctor took granny's temperature and said, I strongly recommend a quiet week in bed. The doctor came. She was rescued by others with great difficulty. After that, the doctor came and advised the granny. He took her temperature and advised that you should take bed rest for 1 week. I strongly recommend a quiet week in a bed. We sighed with relief and tucked her up. Poor granny, for her it was like a brief season in hell, confined to her bedroom while every breeze whispered of summer and dancing leaves. So grandma kept quiet in that room, but it was just like a hell for grandma. She did not like that place. It was just like a prison, or it was just like a hell for grandma. But anyway, grandma kept quiet in that room. The doctor took granny's temperature and said, I strongly recommend a quiet week in bed. We sighed with relief and tucked her up well. Poor granny, for her it was like a brief season in hell, confined to her bedroom while every breeze whispered of summer and dancing leaves. So when she became strong, when her illness was recovered, she wanted to go out because it was a summer season. There was very lovely breeze, so she liked to go out, but she was not allowed by others. But she had held her peace till she felt stronger. Then she sat up and said, I will lie here no longer. And she called for my father and told him undaunted, that means undaunted in a bold manner, bold, without any fear, undaunted, that a house in a treetop was what she now wanted. My dad knew his duties. He said, that's all right. You'll have what you want, dear. I'll start work tonight. But she had held her peace till she felt stronger. Then she sat up and said, I will lie here no longer. And she called for my father and told him undaunted, that a house in a treetop was what she now wanted. My dad knew his duties. He said, "That's all right. You'll have what you want, dear. I'll start work tonight." So one day, she called. She called her son and told, "You please give me. You please build a house on the treetop." Son was very dutiful. So she told, "No, nothing to worry." On the same day itself, he built a house with windows and doors on the treetop. That house in a treetop was what she now wanted. My dad knew his duties. He said, "That's all right. You'll have what you want, dear. I'll start work tonight." On that day itself, at that night itself, her son, built a house with door and window on that treetop. With my expert assistant, the poet was also called. The poet also gave his assistance. He soon finished the core, made her a tree house with windows and door. So Granny moved up, and now every day I climb to her room with the glasses and tray. She sits there in stage and drinks sherry with me, upholding her right to reside in a tree. That is the end of the story. With my expert assistance, he soon finished the core, made her a tree house with windows and door. So Granny moved up, and now every day I climb to her room with the glasses and tray. She sits there in state and drinks sherry with me, upholding her right to reside in a tree. So when the house was built, she moved in. So this writer also visited here. At that time, he took tray and glasses and they drank sherry. He drank sherry with grandmother. They enjoyed much. So she upholded, she told that it is my right to live where I like. She upheld her right to reside in a place where she wanted. She upheld her right to reside where she wanted to live. That is the content of this, a summary of this poem. You should, it is very important for exam. So all of you should be very careful. Definitely you can expect a summary of this poem in the coming exam. It carries 4 or 5 marks, I think. So please don't ignore. It's a very important summary. You need not study it by heart, but you should study by heart. You should study. You should be able to write a summary of this poem. Grandma climbs a tree. Very careful. Very important. Next, here, just we can see some figure of speech. There are some figure of speech issues there. Figure of speech. So, in every poem we can see some figure of speech. Some of the important figure of speech which you should study in this book, I will write on the board something. One is called as figure of speech. What is figure of speech? Figure of speech. We are using figure of speech to express an idea in an attractive manner. We are using figure of speech to express an idea in an attractive manner. Figure of speech. So there are different types of figure of speech, but I told you that some examples, some figure of speech, the character of some figure of speech I am explaining. You have to study only that thing, that important figure of speech which is explained, which is given in this textbook. I am giving you. First one, we can say simile. In the case of simile, it is used for comparison. Always something, an object is compared with another object. At that time, we will say the figure of speech is simile. For example, in the case of this simile, we will use like. Next, as, so. So we can see these words in this simile. For example, I will give you an example. He fought like a lion. He fought like a lion. Here you can see the word like. He fought like a lion. So he is compared with another object. We can say lion. So when we are comparing two objects, we will use this kind of simile. In normal case, usually we can see the word like or as or so in the case of this simile. He fought like a lion. It is an example of simile. Next important, one more. Next figure of speech which you are to study is metaphor. Metaphor. Metaphor is an implied simile, really. There is slight difference between this metaphor and this simile. It is also another figure of speech, metaphor. It is an implied simile. For example, here we can say he fought like a lion. In the case of metaphor, we can say he was a lion in the fight. He was a lion in the fight. You can see the difference. There is slight difference. Here, in this case, he fought like a lion. So it's compared with a lion. Here, he was a lion in the fight. He was a lion in the fight. So this is an example of this simile. It is a figure of speech. You should understand this one. Next, another one, I am saying that first one is simile, this one is metaphor. In the case of simile, he fought like a lion, an example. Then metaphor, he was a lion in the fight. That is metaphor. So only slight difference you can see. Next, another thing you should understand is that personification. Personification you should see. Personification. This is another figure, another part, or you can say another category of this figure of speech, personification. Here, we are comparing a thing with another inanimate object. We are comparing a thing with another inanimate object or non-living. For example, they are merely straws, not a grass. Example. They are merely straws. Straws means when that cone is taken, that dried grass is called as the straw. You can say straws. We are taking that cone. After that, it will become dry and it is called as a straw. So personification, you can say they are merely straws, not the grass. It is an example of personification. Next one, alliteration. Next one is alliteration. It is also another category of this figure of speech, alliteration. alliteration is the another category of this figure of speech. It is very easy to remember. When a same letter is repeating again in the beginning of a word, we will say it as alliteration. When the same letter is coming again and again in a group of words, we can say it as an alliteration. For example, best common example, and I think that you have already heard that example, betta bette bought some butter, for example. Betta bette bought some butter, but that butter is bitter. That butter is bitter. So betta bette bought a bit of bitter butter and made her better butter bitter. Again I am saying betta bette bought some butter, but that butter is bitter. A bit of bitter butter will make better butter bitter. So betta bette bought a bit of bitter butter and made her better butter bitter. Here you can see, I think you have heard that thing before. Anyway, you can see the word B, always B. Starting letter is B always. So in such cases, we will say the figure of speech is alliteration. So four category I have explained. First one is simile, another is metaphor, and next one is personification, next one is alliteration. Simile, I told you, when we are comparing an object with the other. Again I am repeating, he fought like a lion. He fought like a lion. That man is compared with a lion. Like, you can see the word like. He fought like a lion. Then, next one, in the case of metaphor, slight difference. It is an implied simile. I told you, he was a lion in the fight. That's the example of metaphor. In the first case, he fought like a lion. In the case of simile. Second example, I am saying metaphor. In the case of metaphor, he was a lion in the fight. It is metaphor. Next one, personification. I told you, we are comparing with an inanimate or non-living object, non-living things. At that time, we say it as a personification. For example, they are merely straws, not a grass. It is a kind of personification. That they are merely straws compared with an inanimate object. It is called as personification. They are merely straws, not grass. Next, I told you the fourth one, alliteration. It is very easy, I told you. You can remember it very easily. When the same letters repeated again and again in a group of words, we will say it as alliteration. For example, I told you, betta bette bought some butter, but that butter is bitter. A bit of bitter butter will make better butter bitter. So betta bette bought a bit of bitter butter and made her better butter bitter. That is the example. So figure of speech, I already explained the important category of this figure of speech. I have already explained, and moreover, I have written the example on the board also. So summary of the poem, I have already explained, and next you can see the figure of speech. You can expect summary and figure of speech also. So next, in this lesson, I am giving you some 1 mark questions. For some 1 mark questions, I am explaining. And after a few days, you will get notes. But now I am explaining some 1 mark questions. First one, What did the poet Ruskin Bond call his grandmother? What did the poet Ruskin Bond call his grandmother? All of you know, because I have already explained. The poet called his grandmother as a genius. She called her as a genius. Don't forget one mark. Next, what did the poet Ruskin Bond call his grandmother as? So, answer genius. Next one. When did she last climb a tree? When did the grandma last climb a tree? I have explained. She climbed at the age of 62. She has climbed tree at the age of 62. Next, at what age did Granny start climbing tree? At what age? I told you, she started climbing tree at the age of 6. At the age of 6, she started climbing tree. How did Granny wish to grow old? How did grandmother wish to grow old? She wished to grow old disgracefully. Others told to live gracefully, but she refused and she told that no, I don't like. I want to live disgracefully. That word don't forget, disgracefully. Next, who taught her the art of climbing trees? Who taught? I told you that her brother taught the art of climbing tree. So otherwise, she was taught the art of climbing tree by her brother. Next, who has written the poem Grandma Climbs a Tree? In the beginning I told you, Ruskin Bond. The author of this poem is Ruskin Bond. He has written this poem, Ruskin Bond. Next, it was like a brief season in a hell. I'll write on the board. It was like a brief season in So it was like a brief season in a hell. Hell, opposite is heaven. So which figure of speech is this? I told you the nature or the characteristic of simile. It was like, you can see, it was like a brief season in a hell. So the poet compared with hell. So the figure of speech is simile. That line you can see in this poem. It was like a brief season. Next, I will lie here no longer. What does here refer to? I will lie here no longer. I will lie here no longer. I will I will lie here no longer. The grandma says these words because the doctor recommended her to take rest for 1 week, and she told her not to go outside. So grandma told, I won't live here for a long time. I wanted to go out. I want to get a house. I want to build a house on the treetop. So she told, I will lie here no longer. So grandma told these things because the doctor recommended her to live in her room and take bed rest. Next, after examining Granny, what did the doctor recommend? After examining Granny, what did the doctor recommend? The doctor recommended the grandma to take bed rest for 1 week. The doctor recommended the grandma to take bed rest for 1 week. Next, so Granny moved up. So Granny moved up. So Granny moved up. You can see some 3 marks questions. That means read the following extract and answer the question given at the end. Or you can say annotate the following. At that time, you can expect this type of questions in your question paper. So Granny moved up. That means her son built a new house on the tree top. After that, she moved in that new house. She moved in the new house on the tree top. That's the answer. Next, where did Granny go to a new house built? Granny moved to tree top. That's the answer. Granny moved to tree top because her new house was built on the tree top. Next, what kind of house was built for Granny? What kind of house? I told you that there were windows and doors. There were windows. There were windows and doors in that house. Next, who built Granny's house? Granny's house was built by her son. Her house was built by her son. Next, which right did the Granny exercise to get her wish fulfilled? Granny exercised her right of living the place where she liked. The last sentence you can see. That means in the last sentence in that poem you can see she upheld her right to live where she liked. She upheld her right to live where she wanted to live. That's the answer. Which right did Granny exercise to get her wish fulfilled? So this is finished. So all of you should read, and you should read that, you should learn that summary, and moreover figure of speech I have explained, summary I have explained, some other difficult words also I have explained. So you should be thorough with this summary. It's very important for exam. So it is stopped. Now it is ended. So please don't. Thank you very much. Please don't forget to subscribe and share. Please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.